you start your book with a quote from a famous US writer, Jack Kerouac. I hope I spelled his name right. And the quote talks about the outstanding people, the mad ones, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time, the ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing and burn for something like candles. And I think it was Steve Jobs in 1997 who used a similar theme for setting up Apple in a new direction when he came back to Apple. What I would be interested to hear, what are the mad ones in science, in your opinion, that change the world? What does it mean to you?
It is amazing that you go to the first quote of the book, because this, I mean, you are very right. This quote is very important for me. It's a very important one. I wasn't aware that Steve Jobs used that. But just let me clarify something. In this quote, when they say burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles are fireworks, okay? So it's looking at people that are fireworks, you see? Mm-hmm. And at the end, because I know this quote by heart, right? And he says something like exploding like spiders across the stars. And in the middle, you see the blue centerlight pop and everybody goes, how? Wow. You know, it's considering people that, or loving people that are like fireworks. Okay. So the mad ones for me are special people. And by mad ones, of course, I referring, of course, to the scientists, right? But people that are very interesting, very different, that people that are able to live in the world for years, but never becoming the world because they are free thinkers, you know? Mm-hmm. They don't get easily influenced by the world. They can go against everybody if needed. They are contrarians, you know? And like scientists, they are in a spiritual quest for freedom and truth. Yeah. And especially the scientists that are contrarians, you know, because if you know, Christian, how much I love matrices, because you are reading the book, you told me. But if you can imagine like a matrix, a 2x2 matrix, okay? And on the one axis, there's the followers and the contrarians, right? And then the other axis is I mean, you are right or you are wrong, okay? Of course, being right is the most important thing. But after being right, if you are in the quadrant where you are a contrarian, then you suddenly invested in something that's really scarce right now. And its value, it's so much higher, you know? So being against the tide in the investment world, I think it pays off, honestly. So I love to be a contrarian. And yeah, but in any case, what this quote really means, or I'm using this quote to signal that I'm surrounded by this type of people all the time. And this is the biggest privilege of what I do for a living, Christian. I mean, being with people, finding new ways to solve problems, people that are incredibly intelligent, incredibly brilliant, you know, creative. God, I really love what I do, you know, and that's the reason why I love so much what I do, is precisely because I'm surrounded by these kind of people. And this quote, I'm amazed that you picked the quote instead of picking like the text of the book, right? Because again, it is an important quote. It is not just because I chose one little quote there and I put it there. No, it is very central in the way I think, you know, I mean, looking for this type of people always.
I was pleasantly surprised when I read your book that you quoted right at the first chapter, one of the authors. Yeah, of course. I love. Yeah. And I always ask myself, why Silicon Valley is such an outstanding ecosystem in 2024? And one of the explanations, in my opinion, delivers Jack Kerouac in the book. He describes the spirit in the 50s or 40s and 60s in the United States in this area, in this book. And I think these are the roots of the culture that's still in Silicon Valley prevalent these days. And Steve Jobs read this book. So I found it on a reading list that someone who will be on my podcast in June posted on her Medium profile. And we will talk about Silicon Valley. And I think Steve Jobs used it in the Think Different campaign in 1998. A similar quote where he points out that it's the unusual people, the mad ones, like you described, that change the world at the end of the day. And it needs a lot of emotional strength, because it means when you are a contrarian, that you always do things and look at things that the majority of people don't like yet, and are not convinced that it's a good thing. How do you deal with that?